Alright, I'm gonna show you how to install Truenas on a USB drive. So you're gonna search up Truenas, go to the website, get Truenas, download Truenas Core. No thank you, I re-signed up, and download. And then I already have it downloaded, so I'm not gonna download it again. But if you don't have it downloaded, just press save, and it will be downloaded. Next, you're gonna go to Wolfus, and then go to the website, and then you're gonna click on the top one here, and then it asks you to download. Press save. And then once you have everything downloaded, go to Wolfus in your search bar, search that up, and then it's gonna automatically, if once you have your USB drive plugged in, it's gonna show up here. You're gonna put that, and then you're gonna select the ISO, Truenas ISO, open. It's gonna, and press OK, and then once everything's ready, just press start. Let's say OK. It's gonna write the image, and you just wait for it to finish. Okay, and then you just press close, and then now you have a bootable USB drive to use to set up a NAS. Make sure that the USB drive is like 8 gigabits or more. All right, there's the parts to use. The case I have is from my old case that I didn't use anymore, and then I have a 500-watt power supply, which is overkill. I have a M2 SSD that was $18, 64 gigabytes for the Truenas installation. And then I have the RAM, which is 3200 megahertz, and I have a Ryzen 4000G series, I think what it is. I don't know, but it's pretty overkill for what it's gonna be used for, which is for a NAS. And the RAM is 16 gigabytes, so 2x8. And then I have a gaming motherboard, a 520 M8 Pro. Don't make the same mistake I did. There's a reason why gaming motherboards aren't recommended for NAS, for Truenas, that I didn't know until now. The Realtek Ethernet ports on the back of it is apparently really ass for NASs, and I was trying to install plex, but it was not working no matter what I did. So what I suggest you doing if you're gonna use a gaming motherboard is for you to buy a PCI-E network interface card, so you can plug it, so you can put it inside the motherboard and use that instead of the onboard Ethernet port. LAN that comes with a motherboard is really bad for Truenas, so that's what I, from my research, found. Here's me building it at supersonic speed. But if you want to see the whole thing, I don't know, let me know in the comments below. Like if you want me to teach you how to build a PC or whatever. There's already tons of videos online how to build a PC, so I don't really need to tell you how to build a PC. But essentially all you need to do is just build a PC, and then you just have a NAS. Oh, you don't even need to have new parts. Like I'm using new parts because I don't know, I'm just too impatient to find old parts. Okay, here's me installing the SSDs in the PC case. I'm not using any hard drives in my NAS right now. I'm planning to add more SSDs and hard drives. It still has 2 more hard drive bays that's not being used right now. Later on in the future, I'll definitely add them. But right now, I'm only just using 240 SSD in my NAS. Okay, here like a dumbass, I have trouble trying to put in the USB drive the right way around. It should be able to start a video where I show you how to put in the Truenas installation on a USB drive. Okay, when you first boot up your system, whether it's like a new system or an old system that you're trying to convert to a NAS, you should try and get into the BIOS. What I first did when I went to the BIOS was set up XMP profile 1, because I have memory speed that goes up to 3200 speed. So I set that up first. I forgot to record that, but if your memory goes up to that speed, then make sure you set that up in the BIOS. If your memory doesn't have like an XMP profile, then you don't have to worry about that. But in the BIOS, what you do first is you go into the boot option and you select the USB drive as the boot option number 1. Since this is a clean slate build, I didn't install Windows on it or anything before, and nothing is in the drives that has OS, so only the USB drive that I just put in has the Truenas installation. So I just put that as boot option 1. When I put that boot option 1, I'm gonna load it. I'm gonna save and exit, and it's gonna boot up. And if it works correctly, it's gonna boot up into the Truenas installation screen. NAS installation media looks like. Press enter and it boots up. Since my system's pretty fast, basically did it immediately. Depends on your system. If your system's slow, then it'll be slower for it to set up. Select install upgrade, enter, and then you select the hard disk that you want TrueNAS to install on. It cannot be installed on a hard disk like the USB drive. It has to be on an SSD or a hard drive inside the system, which is why I got the M2 drive and I selected the SSD. You press space to select it, and I selected it, and then you have to select a password, create your own password. Boot, UFFI. As you can see, the installation of TrueNAS on the SSD was successful. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna reboot the system, get into the BIOS again, and then we're gonna remove. Once we're in the BIOS, we're gonna remove the USB drive, and then we're gonna select the SSD that we just installed TrueNAS to be the first boot drive, not the USB. So it's gonna boot from the SSD that we installed TrueNAS on. If this happens to you, like you select the SSD when TrueNAS is installed and it goes back into BIOS. If you have the same motherboard as me, like a gaming motherboard or whatever, like MSI, MSI motherboard. So the problem was secure boot was on. Like the motherboard companies expects their motherboards to be used by Windows, and Windows 11 needs secure boot in order to boot. So they automatically, like factory settings, have it turned on. So what we want to do is go into the BIOS settings and turn secure boot off, so TrueNAS can be booted up and instead. My dumbass blocked the screen, but on screen it's just me just putting secure boot mode to disabled, and then I saved and exited, and then it saved and exit and reboot. It should load up to the TrueNAS installation screen now, the real one. Not like the installation screen from the USB drive, but from the SSD. It should look different. So give it some time to boot. And then right there it says see boot TrueNAS. You just press enter and then let it do its thing. Okay, when it's finished, it should give you a IP address at the bottom of the screen. And then you have to go on a PC that's connected to the same network, do Ethernet to the same router or network. Make sure it's the same. Do Ethernet. It won't work through Wi-Fi like on your phone or a laptop. It has to be through Ethernet. So that's what I'm doing right now. You just put the IP address into the web address, and then the default username is root, ROOT, all lowercase, and then you enter the password that you set up during the installation of TrueNAS, and then that's it. You're inside TrueNAS, and then I'll make videos later on how to like set up pools and other stuff that you can actually do inside TrueNAS.